What is up, guys? I'm John.
My name is Chris.
And we are the Heck. And today we're going to be checking out another Overlord Explained video. And this one is going to be about OP world-class items and how overpowered they actually were. Which is going to be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's good because like we literally don't have any idea
how
powerful they really are.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, he said a few times in here that it had the capability of breaking the game, but like in what ways? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like how?
I mean,
actually?
in the new world, how game breaking is that? You know?
Yeah,
or how powerful is game breaking or whatever?
Yeah, and then I don't know what how those rules would apply to the new world. I guess because like everything he's talked about up to now is how the actual game itself worked in the mechanics of the game, and then now maybe I don't know. I'm curious to know how overpowered they actually are now in the real world that he's in.
For sure.
Found themselves. But either way, if you're new to our channel, smash that sub button. We're going to be going through this entire AniNews playlist of Overlord Explained. We're going to be going through the entire thing because we're going to be watching the Overlord movie soon as well too. And want to be freaking fully caught up and figuring out a lot of this stuff. Yeah, exactly. As close to as we can get, I think, to the light novels without actually have checking them out yet. Yeah. And dude, I do want to actually get the light novels as well.
Yeah, I feel like that at some point I would like to read them someday too.
Yeah, it's on my Christmas list, dude. I'm gonna freaking put it on the list. Santa Claus is gonna get it for us.
Hell yeah.
Either freaking way, if you're new to our channel, smash that sub button. Let's do this. Wha-boom! And then hitting that play button. Kapow!
I know this isn't Albedo's episode, but I really just wanted to get
That's what we're waiting for.
I know, dude.
Oh my god, is she decimating the polls right now? That could still change, though. Anyway,
could still change. You're crazy.
This video will cover information on every known world item from both the light novel
Oh
and the
wow,
anime.
every known.
So if you don't want to know how
But it's
some of
world
the
items,
were back
though.
when Yggdrasil was just a game, then this really isn't the video for you. However, if you're looking to have your mind shattered by some of the most overpowered, game-breaking, balance-tilting bullshit that you've ever seen in a fucking video game, then prepare yourself, because
You can tell that he has fun
and
editing
maybe stick
these,
around
just
till the
stacking
end,
that
too,
stuff on
because
there.
I'd just like
Yeah.
to also pitch the idea for a potential new type of Overlord video. Anyway, let's get started. If you watched my most recent video, then you'd already know what world items are. But if you're new, here's the quick summary. The remnants of the leaves of the world tree that were eaten by the world eater.
That's
were
crazy
scattered
that
throughout
that's
the
what they
remaining
are.
9 realms
It's
as
such
Yeah.
a cool,
items.
such cool lore
There
to
are
add to
200
it.
in
Yeah.
total, and each carry the power of an entire world within them. These are by far the
That's
strongest and most rare items in the game, with
I would've
only
never
50
guessed
ever
that's why
being
they were
announced
called
as
world
discovered
items.
during the
I wouldn't
game's
have either.
uptime. There's a subset known as the 20 that can only be used once. After that, they are set to vanish. But no one knows for certain whether they respawn in a different area or
Right.
just disappear from the game
Gone
completely,
forever?
since no one wanted to risk using them should they not just vanish and instead respawn and fall into enemy hands.
Okay, question though.
I would
If
risk
you
it.
got, I was gonna say,
I would
like,
risk it if I was going to if it was going to be the downfall of my party or the guild was going under, something bad was happening, I would risk it every time.
yes, it's like a life or death situation. I'm using it for sure.
Yeah.
And that's all I would ever use it for. It wouldn't be like, oh, man, I might barely beat this person. It would be like, no, they're about to kill me. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to use it right now.
Yeah.
That would be the reason. Yeah.
You'll see why once I start going through a few of them. I think I'll start with a pretty tame one, just to set the mood.
Our
This one was
opinions
actually
change
used
like
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
after he
to
explains
take
it.
control
Son
of
of
the
a-
Shalltear's mind. Now remember, world items can only be countered by other world items. So that's why Ainz's super tier magic didn't remove the mind control. The world class trumps everything. So Shalltear's mind control was caused by the item known as Downfall of Castle and Country, also known as Ruinous Beauty. It's a dress-like piece of clothing that allows the wearer to take control of the mind of any creature, regardless of any immunities that creature may have. Though it can only control one target at a time, the effects will last whether or not the caster is around.
Did we know that?
I don't know if we knew all those details.
I never knew who actually. I mean, I'd never seen that lady. I don't think doing that thing.
She got killed by Shalltear. Like I think it was real quick in the anime.
Was it like right around the same time that like the slime lady first was introduced and like those people
Yeah.
felt okay?
Yeah, like
Same
so when she
episode-ish
left
thing?
that thief hideout to go after the other people or whatever, that was the group that was she went after, and then that lady used the world item before she could attack them, but she killed her, so that's why she was just it was like she was mind controlled, but she didn't have any orders. So she was just standing there in a field or whatever.
Okay. I've been wondering about that for a long time. Like, I know we've talked about, like, why was she, who did it, but it was her.
I'm pretty sure I saw that. I saw a good explanation of it in the comments somewhere, and I read about it a little bit, because the anime really didn't show a whole lot.
It kind of glazed it a little bit, glazed it over. Huh.
The only way to remove the mind control is to kill the person under the item's effects and then resurrect them. So yeah, complete control over any creature for an indefinite amount of time, that's not too shabby. Although its uses in Yggdrasil aren't mentioned, I'd assume you could just go and hijack the most powerful NPC of an enemy guild, then bam, you'd gain a decently strong ally to help you raid their base. Another item that appears in the anime but is still quite vague on what it actually does is the Throne of Kings. This was received by Ainz' guild for clearing the Great Tomb of Nazarick on their first try, so it's more like a trophy than an actually usable item. What it does, though, is boost the stats of whoever is sitting on it. The extent and length of these stat buffs aren't quite known, but I'm sure it's significant enough to give you the advantage in a fight, even while sitting on your ass in this throne. Some people
That's why it's so
that
large.
it also seconds as a world item shield that encompasses the entire Tomb of Nazarick and its entities. Since the throne is said to be an integral part of the tomb, perhaps it protects its residents from the game-breaking effects of other world items. But let me know what you think. Yeah, so those two were pretty boring examples. Let's try talking about one of the known 20, Longinus. Yes, apparently that's how you pronounce it.
Longinus?
Longinus?
What?
So Longinus was very
Longinus?
powerful. When using this item, you could pick any target, NPC or player, and completely remove them from existence, but at the cost of your own existence. Your data and the data of your target would be completely wiped from the game, and there would be no way of recovering it other than by using the resurrection power of another world item.
The only reason I would use that is if I hated the other person that I was using it against. You know what I mean? Like, they had just been cheese fighting me the whole time, and then it was just personal. I was like, all right, I don't care if I win or lose, and I don't care what happens with my character. I gotta take you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only way.
It's like you take somebody with you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah, mutual assured destruction on that one. And if I had a resurrection stone, that would probably be another caveat. If I could do that, then that would be cool. But
so, just like that, you could get your ass Thanos snapped out of reality, and all progress and time you've spent in the game would have been for nothing.
Dang.
This is probably the most ultimate fuck you that any gamer can pull off against another gamer. Speaking of Thanos, there's actually a world item that takes the form of a pair of gauntlets. They're called Avarice and Generous.
We saw those.
And we saw Mari wearing them
we never
in
saw them
episode 12
used, I
to
don't
prevent
believe.
her from succumbing to the effects of other world items while Ainz was fighting Shalltear. The left and right gauntlet, though very contrasting in appearance, work together to harvest XP and then store them for later use. So it's basically an experience point vacuum. The full extent of how it can be used either in Yggdrasil or the New World is still unknown.
So
But
they're
just
both
the
rocking
fact that
world
it's a
items
world
right
item
there.
must give it some rather high XP storage capacity, and might even help fund the use of certain XP costing abilities. It was during that same time that Aura was also given the world item Depiction of Nature and Society, a large scroll that outputs some pretty next level ceiling magic.
Oh,
the way
that's
that it
cool.
works is a target space is first chosen, then it is isolated into a separate dimension. Apparently, the target space would be first swapped for a painted landscape before being converted into that painted landscape entirely. Everything within the target area, regardless of resistances, would be trapped in this alternate dimension. But that's not all. The user can select from 100 different types of landscapes or worlds to trap the target in. Anything from poorly visible monsoons or fog-covered terrains, to more deadly lava-covered landscapes or lightning-filled plains, were all available for selection.
Oh
That
my
being said,
God.
it's not like once you were trapped forever. No, believe it or not, an enemy guild had actually trapped Ainz' guild in one of these separate dimensions. But they had managed to escape using one of the item's 40 randomly selected escape routes. When I say escape route though, I don't mean some path marked by the yellow brick road that you could just stroll out of. They were difficult enough that managing to successfully find
Bowser
and
and
traverse
Nemesis
one
back there,
granted you
and
ownership
dudes from
over the
friggin'
world item without
Dark
having
Souls.
to kill the initial owners. So that's how it came into Ainz' possession. Moving on, we have Albedo's own personal world item, Ginnungagap. Ginnungagap?
Well,
Ginnungagap. I don't know. It was secretly given to her by her creator Tabula. Named after the primordial void from Norse mythology, this wand-like item is considered to be the most powerful world item against physical objects.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
said to be used to obliterate large areas, but when
Dang.
trying to wipe out a single target, it wouldn't be nearly as strong as an upgraded divine class item. Though the item is indestructible, it's quite situational in the sense that there are times in PvP where another item would be better for combat altogether. Sure, you can use it to, let's say, make a giant opening into an enemy guild's base, but you'd probably want to switch to a better item more suited for PvP right after.
So it's
Now,
more
how
like
about
okay,
another one of the
that
20?
makes sense.
This one being called 5 Elements Overcoming. Another simple one. It's just an item that lets you get into contact with the devs and request a change to a tiny little mechanic in the game. The magic system, so nothing too fundamental.
So, but hold on though. What happened? What do you? Can you use that in the new world? Because obviously you can't get in touch with the devs. So like, you know what I mean?
Maybe it's like the gods or something.
Yeah.
The game is played.
Be like, let this one enemy give me all the experience I need to get
just
to level 100.
Allow
ridiculous.
me.
Boom.
This.
I can only
Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
the amount of
Kill
stupid
level
shit
1,
that
you
players
get
could
leveled
come
up all the way to 100.
Notice how I said request though. So that means that the devs wouldn't accept something as ridiculous as reversing the tier system to make tier 1 the strongest and super tier the weakest. At least I hope. It's thought that this was the world item that was used to monumentally change the new world in the past, but that's just a theory. In anime, yeah, no, we're not going there. Now, a lesser known world item is the Caloric Stone. This was obtained accidentally by Ainz Ugon after gaining control of all 7 hidden mines that contained rich deposits of what's known as prismatic ores. These minerals are considered far rarer and higher quality than adamantite. After using their monopoly on these 7 mines to utilize
What was
and
that?
stockpile
Just
a large
slid through
quantity
there.
of prismatic ores, their stock of the mineral known as celestial uranium had converted itself into the Caloric Stone.
Did you ever end up liking the prince? That one, the doucher back there?
Yes.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I started to understand him more.
Near the end,
Yeah.
whenever, like, before those group of people, like, killed him or whatever, he went to see Ainz.
Yeah, yeah.
And that kind of made me, like, I can't remember how it went down, but he seemed, like, very, like, noble.
He did. Yeah.
And had, like, a good attitude about him.
It was kind of wild.
Yeah.
But it was like right there at the very end where I was like, all right, you're not horrible. Like, I guess you've got redeeming quality. This baby is how I looked at it.
I think he was trying to do everything he could to avoid, like, the death of his people or something. But then accepted the fact that it had to happen. Or whatever. I can't remember.
God, dude. Ainz went biblical on that, by the way.
Yeah.
That was freaking nuts, dude.
The full extent of its power is unknown, but it can be used to make a request to the GMs of the game. What that request entails, no one is really quite sure. It can also create or buff armor and weapons, or apparently be used as a golem's core. So each caloric stone can only be used once to create or enhance one thing. But stockpiling more of that same mineral is thought to produce another one, though Ainz's guild was never really able to do so as they had lost control over one of their 7 prismatic ore mines. Which leads us into the next world item, known as the Ouroboros. This is another one of the 20 that, just like the 5 elements overcoming, can be used to make contact with the devs and request a single wish. Sort of like a better version of Wish Upon a Star. In the novel, Ainz had mentioned that when his guild had the monopoly on these 7 mines, another guild had used Ouroboros to restrict everyone except from their own guild members to enter the entire world that the mine was in for an entire month.
Oh, damn.
Whoa.
Really? That's the best thing that you could come up with? Isolating yourself from all other players so that you can gather all rare metals before anyone else could? Why not just wish for a stockpile of rare metals? Or just wish for everyone else's metal to be taken away?
Yeah,
Right?
given to
Those
you.
metals are
Yeah.
useless. There's so many things that they could have asked the devs for. I'm sure the devs have to negotiate with whatever unreasonable requests that these players come up with, but restricting access to a world for a month doesn't seem like that big of a deal from my perspective, especially when you can ask for anything. But oh well, to each their own, I guess. Let's finish off now with the last 2 of the known 20.
Okay,
First up,
really
we've
quick
got
though, I just
Ahura
want to
Mazda.
say why I think that they would have wished for that, because it seemed like they genuinely liked level grinding and actually playing the game. So if they would have just wished for it, it would have made it a lot less fun for them maybe, and them being able to access it solo, they would have been able to explore everything and maybe find hidden stuff and like, you know what I mean?
In that specific world.
Yeah.
But then you would have to, like, make sure everybody in your guild was like, all right, we got a month.
Yeah.
Everybody grind as hard as you can
Yeah.
until this is over.
That's what their guild kind of seemed like, you know what I mean? There?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I like that though. I like that.
Named after the creator and god of Zoroastrianism,
Oh.
which is one of the oldest religions in the world. It deals
Dang.
with the 2 constructs of good and evil, but more so that those who are evil will be punished and evil in general will just be destroyed. As such, Ahura Mazda deals significant AoE damage to targets that have negative karma, meaning that they're aligned with evil. The range of this attack spans across the entire world, so it's essentially a global attack on evil characters and NPCs.
Good
Dang.
A lot
lord.
of people tend to theorize that it's a counter to an unknown world item that can spawn an unlimited number of extremely strong demons. Then the last of the 20 is called the World Savior. If used correctly, it's thought to be able to single-handedly defeat the entire guild of Ainz Ul Gon combined. Yes,
Okay.
I'm talking both NPCs and guild members alike.
Oh my
There's
god.
a catch with this item though. It doesn't immediately start off with the power to one-shot a level 100. Though it does get there, it's a club that is initially rather weak at first. But as you continue to use it, the power in each attack grows and grows until you're at the point where your attack can just obliterate the strongest person with the lightest touch. Consider it like Derriere's punches from the 7 Deadly Sins.
Yeah.
The more attacks that she does, the stronger her punches become. Except, you don't have to perform combos with this club, and there's no known limit to the max power that this item has.
Dang.
So once you've equipped it as your primary weapon from your inventory, then have beat whatever poor souls that you've targeted it with, the moment that you unequip it is when it disappears. Well, supposedly anyway. And
So you have to,
that's every decently
forever
known
keep it
world
equipped?
item.
Yeah, that's what it
There were
sounds
also
like.
2 others that were given to Demiurgus and Cocytus back during the Blood Valkyrie arc,
Cocytus.
though their abilities aren't quite known. You can speculate what they're capable of by reading up on the legend that their name derives from. So you've got Hygeia's Chalice from Greek mythology, a treasured cup that once belonged to the daughter of the god of healing and medicine. So it's probably a healing-based world item with either massive AoE healing effects or single-target instant regeneration. Then there's Billion Blades, though the generic name isn't quite useful in deriving its source from the legends. Atlas was also a world item that once belonged to Ainz but was stolen. This one named in reference to the Greek titan who was most well known for being condemned by the gods to hold up the sky
We were
on his
just talking
shoulders
about
for all
Atlas.
eternity.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not really sure how that could be embodied by an item, but I'm sure you guys have some ideas that you'd want to share. So let me know in the comments what you think that some of these world items can do. Anyway, that's pretty much all the world items that have been mentioned so far. As you can tell, Ainz's guild had the largest collection of world items, boasting possession of 11 of them.
Good
So if
God.
you were planning to mess with them, then you'd definitely need an equivalent number of them if you didn't want to get your ass banished to the Shadow Realm. Now, before I go, as I said in the beginning, I wanted to pitch a potential new type of video.
Oh, what's he doing?
What would you guys think if I started a series in between these explained videos that covered events from the light novel that were skipped in the anime? If you've ever been on the Reddit episode
Dude.
discussion, you'll see a user by the name of Jin4 who always puts out a very thorough description of the events that were missed out from the novel.
Dude, if
I've
there
actually
is
reached out
that,
to him,
would
and
you
we're in
guys
the
like us
process
to
of
react to
making
it as
something
well?
up.
Because it's
Dude.
something
So
I
if
would
that's the type of
definitely like
video
to
that
check
you'd all
out.
be
Yeah.
interested in,
That would be
then let me
cool.
know, and I'm sure him and I could come up with a decent pilot episode together.
God, I freaking
But
love
as
that they
always,
did all
Thank you
this.
so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this type of anime content,
So
then
listen, homies, most definitely, if you haven't yet, make sure you go subscribe to them because they're freaking awesome, and
Yeah.
it's helping us understand the show a lot more, and I think that's really cool, man.
Yeah, these breakdowns are just incredible. Like the research and all that stuff that goes into this is crazy.
So we're getting into some further, we're actually going to be getting in some character ones as well too really soon. So that's going to be
I'm
really
so
cool.
stoked for that.
Yeah, me too. That's going to be freaking awesome, man. Thank you guys very much for watching this one with us. And
Yes.
again, let us know if y'all would be interested in us checking out those things that were missed in the episodes because, that's a freaking awesome idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to know more about it. Like we've talked about it even in this about getting the light novels and stuff. So I would really genuinely be interested in what's happening other than what we've seen in the anime.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot.
Yeah, dude,
that,
yeah.
that was kind of skimmed
Yeah.
over a little quickly in the show or whatever.
It was really cool to watch it with you guys too, watching the show, because I think that y'all did a really good job of telling us things that happen without spoiling anything. And I feel like this would be a really good way for us to visualize a lot of those things.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, I don't think that I would have enjoyed it as much without
Yeah,
everyone
no
in
way.
the comments.
Yeah.
Giving us so much more extra to know about these
Yeah,
characters and stuff.
yeah.
So it was really cool.
Yeah, definitely, man. But either way, homies, we're gonna be uploading. We're gonna be watching 2 of these a week at least, and so we should have them early access on our Patreon. If you guys do want to check that out and support our channel, there's a link to our Patreon in the description below. As well, it's got all of our season 1 through 4 Overlord reactions unedited on there as well too. So freaking head over there if you guys want to, and we'll catch y'all then. Freaking toodles.
Later.
What out?